Hi, hello. Welcome to the episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is December the 9th, 2024. Hopefully, this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. It's Monday. We got that lasagna today. It was solid. Uh, Work was busy, but I can definitely kind of see the horizon in sight. I don't know, fingers crossed. I don't even know how I feel about it. Right, I'm of two minds about it. I might have worked my last Saturday for the year. We might be good. But it's Monday. I usually don't know until like halfway or towards the end of the week if we are gonna need it or not. So we'll see. I might have a whole Saturday off again. That would be kind of nice. But I'm already missing the money. So we'll see. We shall see. But no, today was just a good day overall. Definitely lots of interesting news to get into. Most of it, just impactful. I'll say that. I'll save it for the main part. But right now we're in blog mode. But yeah, definitely a lot going on. Today felt good though. I feel like I was in a good state of mind. I feel like Mondays are usually the worst days, right? Because you got to readjust to work, and there's just all, it's just like the existential dread of just going back to the toil for like 5 more days or plus. Sometimes in my case right now. So it can be a bit of a drag, but no, today felt good. It felt like I was in good spirits. Let's see here. Food corner from last night and activity time. Let's talk about it. Last night it was a nice, fun Sunday fun day with the homies. I got to hang out with some of my coworkers. And just shoot the shit, play some Magic the Gathering. It's really nice. It's really cool. Also, the homie made some bomb ass chili. Bomb ass chili. He just described it as like a Southwest style chili, and I would say it hit all the notes. He told me, he's like, hey, I wasn't a big tomato guy, so I took the tomatoes out and replaced it with corn. Now my tummy was like, ooh, I wish you hadn't said that, but I did not mind. I had 3 big old bowls of the stuff with some tortilla chips. I was going in. I was snarfing it up, and then I felt so bad because my tummy is just talking, just making noise throughout the whole time. I'm over here just like playing, just shuffling cards, and it's like. But luckily, I was with my good friends, so no worries, no worries. And and maybe this is TMI, but I was in Putin. It was just noise, no, it was just noise in the tummy. It was just like Osmosis Jones action going on in there. But it was good. It was banger, worth it for the day I had to go through for sure today. But no, I'm sorry. I know I'm being crass, but no, just good times, good vibes, good food. You love that. And then after, I treated myself to a little snack. I actually had a couple of snacks that were probably bad eats. But I had a Hershey chocolate with almonds last night. And then I had a payday. Like at the top of the day. Just a little treat. Just a little treat, from making it into work on a Monday, which is not a good habit. I don't like doing that because I feel like if I reward that kind of behavior, then I keep doing the behavior. That's kind of bad, right? But we'll see. Hopefully I don't. I break the cycle of candy. I have like one big little junk snack. I will say though, I had an orange and some yogurt. I'm trying to get on some yogurt now. I'm trying to switch it up. Trying to, make better conscious decisions. I even had some baked chips for my little snack. Now, don't ask me how many energy drinks I've consumed today. I'm within my legal limit, officer. So get off me. All right. Let's go ahead and do the startup and let's get into some news. I think it's almost all updates today. Technically it's all updates, but I would say the focus is not. It's a little different, but we'll get to it. We'll cover it all. I'm doing a little bit of setup here that's poor and unnecessary, but I'm doing my best. Trying to make it fun for everybody. And even though I will say though, we got some heavy hidden topics, but I mean we usually do. That's kind of part of the course on the newsstand. All right. From USA Today. Person of interest in United Healthcare CEO killing arrested, charged in Pennsylvania. So it's looking like they got him, y'all. The person of interest in the fatal shooting of United Healthcare CEO Brian Thompson was charged Monday night with several crimes, including carrying a gun without a license, after being arrested earlier in the day at a McDonald's in central Pennsylvania. A criminal complaint filed by police in Altoona, Pennsylvania, also charged Luigi Nicholas Mangione. I'm going to say Mangione. I'm sure I'm getting that wrong. Mea culpa. Mangione, 26, with forgery, tampering with records or identification, giving police false ID, and being in possession of instruments of crime. That sounds so menacing. He was arraigned and jailed without bail. Police say they found a 3D printed handgun with a silencer, also printed, when they searched Mangione's backpack upon detaining him at the McDonald's. The officers who responded to a restaurant employee's tip said they recognized Mangione right away from the widely distributed law enforcement photos once he removed his face mask upon their request. So there's a lot here. Essentially, what we can already pull and know that it was a McDonald's employee that turned him in, that did the snitching. They dropped the dime. That's unfortunate. I know a lot of people have been screeching and they're big mad about that. I get it. I understand. I would also add, this is kind of going to be an inevitable thing. I know that people think that like, oh, this was a setup. Oh, it's a patsy. I've already heard the conspiracy talk. And I get it. We're all going to jump to these kind of conclusions. I understand. We're always looking for a magic bullet theory. But to me, I'm like, this does kind of add up, you know? And it's like, I know we're like, he was so perfect. How could he make these little simple mistakes? It's like, y'all think that everyone is like, you can just turn on and become Agent 47. It's like, no, man. Actually, no. And even if you are, guess what? It's not a movie, dog. I say it's not a movie, but I tend to think and believe that these guys do have the forensic capabilities when they're not being bumblebutts. I'm talking about law enforcement here, to actually get the job done and actually get their man. So yes, it's crazy that he got away. Yes, it's crazy that he even escaped New York. That's wild, but it's not impossible. It's not a stretch of the imagination. So like, I was like, okay, all right, whatever. Also, another thing I wanted to point out here, they found him with law enforcement photos. Now, I've heard this terrible cringe ass take from some of my peers, some of my others. Sometimes I think they're my betters, but they really, whatever. Is that, oh, it's the shit posters. You guys kept posting his photos and all you girls were gooning over him and blah, 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 blah. And it's like, could you just stop being a salty little asshole for just a second, like, because that's not what happened here. I guarantee you the fucking law enforcement wasn't looking at the memes and like, we got to follow the trail here. No, they actually just followed the trail of, I don't know, fucking evidence, dude. And there's other shit here. I mean, we're mentioning ghost guns. So essentially he made his own gun. We've talked about ghost guns before on the pod. I mean, pretty much these things are legal to own. You know, you can have them as long as you're not doing anything criminal with them, as long as you're not selling them, because these things don't have serial numbers on them. They're impossible to track in a lot of cases. You just crafted your own fucking gun, like fucking Elder Scrolls style, and now you're just ready to do whatever with it. But hey, that's Second Amendment, baby. But yeah, I mean, it makes sense because I know a lot of people were saying this looks like a very unique pistol. Like it looks very custom. It added to the whole allure or what have you. Oh, let me get another gripe out. I'm sorry. These are all kind of coming to me as I'm thinking and talking about this shit. And maybe I'm the wrong one. Maybe I'm the asshole here, my dear listeners, and I'm willing to accept that. You know, sometimes I can be guilty of being a piece of shit as well. I'm no good guy. I'm no hero in this story. But like the idea that like, you share a meme because it's like, hey, you know, we were making fun of this shit all the way down. And it's like, yeah, it's bad when you make fun of someone getting killed and da-da-da-da. That's, oh, the humanity, where's the humanity? But then it's also crazy to see people on the left or whoever didn't all of a sudden be like, I can't believe they're posting Luigi's Mansion memes. Like people actually stopping traffic and saying you're being racist against Italians, and I'm like, hold the fuck up, bro. This is I haven't heard this level of bullshit since the fucking what was it, Andrew Cuomo shit. Like I'm just like, could we be for real right now? Like I thought we were talking this good shit, and now we're doing this infighting again. Now we're doing this finger pointing again. And I just wanted to leave the internet yet again. You know, I just wanted to Dr. Manhattan and go to Mars, but like I'm too addicted to it. So I just get rid of people like that. I'm just overseeing just terrible ass takes like that and just being surrounded by people like that. So I'm just trying to like street sweep them out. But like let's just get back to it. I know I had to talk about how I feel about this shit and how it's affecting me. You know, what good American would I be if I didn't do that? But the evening proceedings capped a dramatic day when authorities got a big break when the workers' morning call, after searching for Thompson's killer since was gunned down outside of a Midtown Manhattan hotel early Wednesday. I kind of came in the back end of that, whatever. Sorry, this page keeps shutting down on me. Did we freeze? I think we're good. Bear with me. Gonna have to reset it. But yeah, they talked about his ghost gun. He also apparently, I mean, and this is the thing, we're talking about, I think he's like 26 years old, right? Something like that. A young guy, you know, middle class upbringing, pretty well to do. So it's not maybe your average shooter, but it's definitely your average person who's going to leave behind like a digital trail. You know, like people even have his fucking Goodreads review on the, on Ted Krasinski's manifesto. And I'm like, oh my God. They're going to cook him over everything. Like at the end of the day, that's how this works. Like, yes, it's morbid that we do the thing where it's like, oh, we're making light of all of this. It's like, yeah, because that's all we really have. Like, that's just what we do on social media. It's just how this shit works. I think we're back in action here. Here we go. Yeah. Mangione was a well-educated young person with a grudge. Details that have begun to emerge about Mangione paint the picture of a technologically savvy, academically accomplished young man with a grudge against the healthcare industry, although the reasons for that are not clear. Mangione's LinkedIn profile describes him as a data engineer for California-based TrueCar, an online automobile marketplace. The profile says he earned a bachelor's and master's degrees in engineering and computer science from the University of Pennsylvania, an Ivy League school. Also, I believe his last known address was in Honolulu, and he was raised in Maryland and went to college in Pennsylvania, which we just mentioned. Another thing, too, that, once again, it's just all kind of coming to me as I'm scrolling. I'm kind of just compiling this fresh. I love that the initial reward for this was $10K. And then on average of $10K a day, it went up to, I believe, 60,000 is where I think it capped for any kind of reward, which is also yet again another reason why it's like, yes, is the McDonald's worker who snitched, is that Judas behavior? Yeah, it is. It's fucked up. Do we like that? No, it's boo. It's boo. Tomato town, tomato town, tomato town. But do I get it? Yeah, I fucking get it, dude. Like, there's a reward. There's this weird sense of justice, quote unquote, that people can fucking have. Like, I remember on the day I was on X, the everything app, and I'm watching people literally live dry snitch trying to geolocate this guy, you know, because we said he got on the e-bike, he, you know, hit the e-bike and then like they lost him at Central Park or whatever, right? Turns out he winds up like hailing a cab and going. Now, at the end of the day, no one needed to dry snitch. You didn't have to be the McDonald's worker. I mean, granted, you're trying to get your fucking bread up, right? Or you're just trying to get the clout. At that point, it was literally just a 10K. And I'm sure the guy didn't even care about the 10K. He wanted the points for saying he found him. But it was, hold on, I lost my train of thought. Sorry. Let me just talk back about the manifesto. I can't believe I just derailed myself like that. An online post by a reviewer who appeared to be Mangione was highly supportive of a manifesto written by Ted Kaczynski, known as the Unabomber, who killed 3 people and injured 23 in a series of mail bombings between 1978 and 1995. The Goodreads review from January of 2024 was written by a user with a profile name Luigi. I think it's L Mangione. And the same photo Mangione used for other profile pics. Also, gotta say, good looking guy. He's felt. He's got abs. Got some nice bushy. And that's I hate to say it. I looked immediately at them bushy ass eyebrows, and I'm like, it's probably him. I think it's probably him because he's had the mask on. I know I'm having the thumbnail with the mask on there, but I mean, it doesn't seem like a stretch of the imagination for me that's probably dude. But I mean, hey. Also, another thing I wanted to add: if he is a fall guy, if he is a patsy, if he did it, what would I like? What in my dream like scenario? I kind of hope he beats the case. I hate to say that. Is that crazy? Am I morbid? Am I wrong for that? I would love for him to not, sorry, I had to get some water. Go down for this. I know maybe I'm fucked up for that. Maybe I'm definitely, I'm lost for that. But, you know, also at the same time though, I'm not saying that this is some conspiracy. I'm not saying that the pieces don't fucking fit here, because to me they already do. I think this is gonna be a slam dunk case for prosecution. I hate to say it, but I do. One thing I did kind of want to mention about the ghost guns, because we did talk about that a little bit earlier. I mean, this is kind of one of those things where it's like, yeah, this is a concern, but you hear a lot of conservatives not really mad about it. They're kind of like, well, I mean, it's your right to have them as long as you're not doing anything illegal with them. Like, you're allowed to have a firearm. Well, yeah, but this is why people want more regulation. We've talked about instances where people will literally craft their own fucking guns that are super hard, damn near impossible to track. And it's like, yeah, selling them is one thing, but then using them and then getting rid of them, disposing of them, it makes it a whole other fucking issue, right? So of course I would like to see changes on that, but we all know that with our fucking future god emperor coming into power, we all know he's not changing that up. I don't see much change there, even though you are now seeing a highlighted issue where it's like, damn, maybe we should maybe look further into these, like the Biden administration was trying to do, maybe we won't, but we'll see. Let's see here. What else did I want to pull here? I guess we can talk about him and Penn. There have been like people trying to get information from people, like students. No one really on the record wants to talk about this. I get that. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, you're now figuring out, oh, that's a dude I know, and that's some crazy shit, right? And I think maybe some people want to talk about that, but maybe initially not so much right now. You don't want to get those DMs. You don't want to get those weird, crazy emails or whatever. You know what I mean? It's not doing you any good. So I understand that vibe. I get that. Let's see here. Is there anything else I wanted to pull? Oh yeah, the bag of money, which was not a bag of money. It was Monopoly money. Former FBI profiler Mary Ellen O'Toole told USA Today. I don't know why I said O'Toole like that. I'm sorry. USA Today Tuesday on Monday said that she was not surprised at the length of time the investigation took, despite the scores of police and FBI agents working the case. We expect these cases to be solved overnight, like they do in a TV show, but this is not TV, and these cases take more time than that, O'Toole said. O'Toole said fake money from a Monopoly game found in the suspect's backpack had concerned her. He knew the police would find it, she said. If he thinks this is a game, he may not understand the egregiousness of what he has done, and he may have other targets. He did also, speaking of manifestos, he made I think a little quick 2-pager explaining himself. I'm sure it's going to be used in evidence and talked a lot, dissected and whatnot. I think I've read maybe a sentence or something, more or less to the effect of look, kind of had to do it to him. You know what I mean? And, obviously it's fucked up, but I get the we've talked about this before, and we will talk about this shit again, where you understand and you look at where things are, and this shit is just so odious to you, and there's just nothing you can do, and people want to eventually resort to a bad outcome. I'm not saying that's okay. I'm not saying that's right. I'm saying I understand it. I'm saying that doesn't surprise me that this fucking shit happens. And sometimes it takes the form of mental illness. Sometimes it fucking doesn't. Sometimes people are just so fed up. You know what I mean? And we're not going to fucking yap about it anymore. We're not going to fucking type about it on fucking, X, once again, the everything app. You know what I mean? Or Reddit or Facebook. You know what I mean? So yeah, let's see. I'm trying to think what else that I really wanted to pull. Thompson. No, I guess we're gonna read this part. Thompson, 50, which was Brian Thompson, the CEO who was shot Wednesday on a Midtown street outside a hotel where he was set to speak at an investment conference. The surveillance cameras show a shooter firing multiple times from behind Thompson at close range at about 6:45 a.m. Yeah, they just tracked more of his movements there. We talked about the cab. But yeah, that's more or less where we'll leave it right now. Obviously, there's going to be a trial incoming. That's definitely going to be a thing. It's definitely going to be a lot to make hay about. But speaking of trials, we do have a update on the Daniel Penny verdict. So I know I circled that around a lot, and I know, a bit sloppy. I lost my train of thought a little bit, okay? You can blame it on the whatever. Anyway, from ABC News. I miss my son. Jordan Neely's father, DA, react to Daniel Penny verdict. So yeah, this is going to be unfortunate. Daniel Penny has been found not guilty of criminally negligent homicide for the death of Jordan Neely by the jury on Monday. Penny, a 26-year-old former Marine, put Neely, a 30-year-old homeless man, in a minutes-long chokehold after Neely boarded a subway car acting erratically in May of 2023, according to officials. Neely entered a subway car on an Uptown F train at the 2nd Avenue stop and was described by witnesses as yelling and moving erratically when Penny put Neely in a chokehold, officials said. The case captured national attention, putting a spotlight on homelessness, severe mental illness, safety, and race. Just going to summarize the rest of this. Like I said, I just wanted to kind of close this out with the update and how I felt about it. Look, the prosecution saw they were cruising or careening, more like it, better to say, towards a mistrial. They didn't want that. So they take the manslaughter charge off. That sucks. Don't like that. Criminally negligent homicide, how the jury, from how I was seeing it, made sense that they were going to settle on that, right? Like, that's going to get them to some kind of consensus. It turns out it just gave them the consensus to just say, yeah, not guilty. I don't know. I would like to hear how the jury got there. But it just is what it is. You know what I mean? There's nothing that can really be done about it. I don't want to say I'm surprised. I'm just more upset about it in my own, like, just from just how I feel, how I look at it. Like, I can understand, yes, you're worried about safety and things like that, but that just does not give someone a license to kill. It just doesn't. You know what I mean? He could have put Neely in that hold and then let him go, but he never did until Neely just stopped, until he just stopped breathing, until he just stopped moving. And I guess that's just something that's just going to be okay. It's just going to be considered okay to do. And yeah, it's disheartening. It's frustrating. It's sad, because I feel like the way society makes this shit feel is that you're pushed to these places, these moments. And Neely was having that moment where he felt like, what do I have? Like, I have nothing. And he's on this F train, and yes, is he lashing out? Is he making a mistake acting that way? Of course. But that doesn't give someone a right to then come up to him and say, I'm going to kill you. Because that's what he did. That's what he did. It doesn't matter what the intent or whatever. Once again, I'm okay with manslaughter. That's fine if you need to criminally word it and interpret it like that. But once again, the jury couldn't even get there, and then that was taken off the table. They just said, well, like, do we even want to give him a guilty verdict? And I guess the answer was no, we don't. So it just is what it is. Like, I don't have much else to add without getting more upset about it, and I just kind of have to accept it as it is, But yeah, let's move on to the next bump. And gotta say, this is probably maybe the most triggering thing. I'm gonna be saying a lot of words that are not great to say, and hopefully the TikTok gods continue to let me pass without getting banned. Though who knows, TikTok itself might be getting banned like mid-January. We've talked about that as well. So yeah, just sexual assault. The R word is going to get used a bit here, and I'm just gonna say it. So if you got to fast forward till the next thing, it's about, I don't know, y'all know, I go about 5 minutes about ish, depending. Anyway, CBS News. Jay-Z, Sean Diddy Combs, accused of raping 13-year-old in civil suit. Now, I just want to say for the record, just for the sake of the thumbnail and the title, I didn't make the focus on Diddy. We know Diddy, did he do it? Yeah, probably. In this situation, the focus is much more on Jay-Z, and I just wanted to make that kind of more clear. Anyway, rappers Jay-Z and Sean Diddy Combs have been accused in a civil lawsuit of raping a 13-year-old girl back in 2000. The lawsuit, which was originally filed in October and refiled Sunday in New York to add Jay-Z to the list of defendants, alleges that the victim, identified only as a woman now living in Alabama, was raped by both men at a Video Music Awards after party, also known as the VMAs. Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, referred to the allegations in a statement as a blackmail attempt. Combs' attorney denied the allegation. The lawsuit alleges the girl went to the VMAs in New York City. I don't know why I said New York City that way, without a ticket, hoping to get inside, but was instead invited to an after party by a limo driver who claimed to work for Combs. The limo driver allegedly drove her to the party, where she was told to sign something that she believes was a non-disclosure agreement, the lawsuit claims. While inside, the lawsuit alleges after attempting to talk to numerous celebrities, plaintiff accepted a drink from one of the waitresses circulating the crowd. The lawsuit claims she began to feel woozy and lightheaded after drinking a portion of the drink and went to find a place to lie down. She went into a room that had a bed in it, and shortly after lying down, Combs, Carter, and an unnamed woman celebrity whom the alleged victim recognized entered the room, the lawsuit claims. The lawsuit then alleges that Carter held her down and raped her while Combs and the woman celebrity watched. After, Combs also raped her while Carter and the woman watched, the suit claims. Combs then attempted to force the girl to perform oral sex on him, but she managed to punch him, grab her clothes, wrap them around her, and run away, according to the lawsuit. Although there were other guests still at the party, no one appeared to take notice of plaintiff's distress or attempted to help her. According to the lawsuit, after leaving the party and putting her clothes back on, the girl managed to run back to a gas station she had seen on the way to the party, where a clerk noticed her distress and allowed her to use the phone. She then allegedly used the phone to call her father and have him pick her up. The woman is seeking unspecified damages. Now, I want to read Sean Carter's statement. I feel like that's relevant here. And then just how I feel about, I guess, all of this. In response to the filing, Carter said in a statement, "My lawyer received a blackmail attempt, called a demand letter from a lawyer named Tony Busby. What he had calculated was the nature of these allegations and the public scrutiny." God, I hate when these fucking ads do this. "The public scrutiny would make me want to settle. No, sir. It had the opposite effect. It made me want to expose you for the fraud you are in a very public fashion. So no, I will not give you one red penny. Only your network of conspiracy theorists, fake physics, will believe the idiotic claims you have levied against me that, if not for the seriousness surrounding harm to kids, would be laughable," the statement added. That feels very bizarre to me, to make a statement that way. And peeling it kind of back, trying to run it down a bit, it seems like what the ploy is, the tactic is, or the quote-unquote truth, according to Combs here, Jay-Z, is that this is all a smoke and mirrors game, a dark money campaign by this Tony Busby lawyer. And initially, this, Busby himself says, hey, this wasn't, like, this was supposed to be something that we wanted you to kind of have at least a certain kind of an acknowledgement of it. And then you wanted to make this something else. And you're trying to make this about me. And I'm trying to, now it's like, no, my client is more motivated to actually come out and testify. So that's Busby's take on this. And according to Jay-Z, this is all some kind of campaign. And he's kind of seemingly taking the woman out of it, the girl, the 13-year-old, out of it and saying, no, this is just all a smoke and mirrors thing by this Busby guy. I think that that's very suspicious. I think that you can just easily come out and say, hey, I didn't do these things. It didn't happen. And you make that your statement and you take this shit to court, right? You go about it that way. Trying to fight this in the public opinion that way feels very weird, feels very strange to me. It is what it is. That's a tactic. That's a choice. It just is what it is. Let's see, what else did I want to peel here? I think I actually want to see if I can, yeah, I think I can read Busby's statement here. What he fails to say in his recent statement is that my firm sent his lawyer a demand letter on behalf of a alleged victim, and that victim never demanded a penny from him. Instead, she only sought a confidential mediation. Since I sent the letter on her behalf, Mr. Carter has not only sued me, but he has tried to bully and harass me and this plaintiff. His conduct has had the opposite impact. She is emboldened. I'm very proud of her resolve. Now, I guess Jay-Z defenders, Jay-Z himself, is just going to say this is just, once again, all part of this ploy, this plan to pump him for money, and that this whole thing is a shakedown. I don't know, man. That does not seem to hold weight and water to me. Obviously, we'll see how this shit shakes out in court. But yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where there's definitely been like, I've just, scrolling through the internet, you see that these rumors and these things can come up. I typically like to wait until I see a big statement from somebody, then I'm like, oh, okay, this is the person making the statement. Or you have some kind of legal thing happening where you're taking it there, which is a shame that you have to like kind of wait and wade through those channels before I go, oh, is this real? Is this da 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 da? Also, this is a bit of an aside. The Jonathan Majors thing, I never really talked about that. I think it took place maybe like a week or so ago. I think the charges against him were dropped by his girlfriend that had the whole abuse thing, which it's one of those things where it's like, okay, that happened. And then you immediately hear people coming back out of the woodwork. See, like, ooh, see, told you he wasn't guilty. Is like, that doesn't change anything, brother. That just means that the charges are no longer being pursued, that they settled it probably, outside of court. I didn't really press it too hard or dig too deep in it. I don't want to make an episode out of it. But once again, you take this shit to the legal realm to get your recompense, to maybe even get some kind of, acceptance or justice. But even that gets hyper scrutinized and gets, potentially torn apart by people. It's like, no, see, you weren't telling the truth because X or Y, even though it's like, nah, it seems like the shit kind of came out. The truth kind of came out in that situation. So anyway, I know I'm kind of just merging and talking about multiple things here. Obviously, industry is this really fucking icky, sticky, gross place. And it sucks. I mean, obviously, I think, especially I know myself as a young black man, I listen to this shit a lot. I remember talking to my bio mom about Kingdom Come, one of Jay-Z's albums. And like, that was one of the things we bonded over because she didn't think I would really fuck with that shit. But I'm like, nah, I fuck with Jay-Z. I like Jay-Z. But, then this shit, it's like, damn, you never meet your heroes, right? But I mean, shit, are we that surprised, once again, talking about the rumors or whatever? But I mean, this was a dude who was also kind of technically connected to the Lolita Express. Am I confirming that? No, I'm not. I'm just saying that shit was, linked to him, tied to him. I'm not saying that actually happened. That might have been debunked. Once again, I'm not doing the work on that shit. I'm trying not to be conspiratorial here. I'm just saying that shit's is already in the wind. And I think that's a known thing. And I think that's probably why he had such a calculated fucking response to this. Once again, that's me with my speculation hat on. I got to mention that. But, we will see how things shake out. I guess I got to say that here, but definitely icky. Very, very gross shit. Not happy to talk about it. Whew. Anyway, kind of switched it up here. We did a lot of the national America stuff, the Ameriboo stuff. As an American, I am a real American. I too would maybe get done up at a fucking McDonald's, for my crimes. They really get you. You think you're going to get a fucking McDouble and you get in McTrouble. Anyway. Let me go ahead and take my last break, and then we'll go ahead and close it out. Ooh. Ooh. Ooh, buddy. Ooh. Okay, okay. From the BBC. From the BBC. Travel ban on South Korea, on South Korean president after martial law attempt. Ooh. I'm wading in the water. South Korean authorities have imposed a travel ban on President Yoon Suk Yeol, who is under investigation for a short lived martial law declaration last Tuesday. Yoon narrowly survived an impeachment motion against him over the weekend after MPs from his ruling People Party, or the PPP, boycotted the vote. PPP members said they decided not to support the motion after Yoon agreed to shorten his term and not get involved in foreign and domestic affairs. So this to me is like, what? Huh? So yeah, he's saying, hey, I want a travel ban. I won't leave. I won't go nowhere. I'm going to stay. I'm chilling. Nothing weird. I'm not going to go out and then get crazy, because that's something that you can do as a leader. You can potentially leave and then start trying to issue declarations and being wild or whatever. That you don't want that. That's a whole problem. That's a whole issue. And it's potentially like, hey, maybe you might have to, like, I don't know, face the music and potentially go to jail for some crimes. I found that out. Don't quote me on this statistic, but apparently there's been at least one or two former South Korean presidents that have essentially gone to jail, like after their presidency, because of like corruption or just some kind of, crime, some kind of political crime. And it's like, damn, they kind of don't play about that shit. That's why I was really salty to see them do the walkout, and it makes sense that they have this whole plan here. And also, heads did roll. Though it is worth mentioning, floor leader Park Chan-dae called the maneuver an illegal, unconstitutional insurrection and a second coup. And I can understand that. It's like, you guys made a backdoor deal. This isn't what the people want. I think they're also going to potentially try again to impeach him. I don't think that's going to work. I think this is maybe the best that they're going to get out of the situation, and then maybe they can get a crack at him after. Also, he's agreed to shorten his political time in office, so that's interesting. And we'll see if they stick to that. I think that's obviously very important. But since then, despite the failed impeachment motion, several key figures involved in the martial law order have also seen action taken against them. Former Defense Minister Kim Yong-hyun, who reportedly proposed the martial law declaration to Yoon, was arrested on Sunday. It's also worth mentioning, though, that this was a guy who was pretty buddy-buddy with Yoon. Like, Yoon put him into the position, if I'm not mistaken. I'm pulling that from, like, the BBC. And it's like, yeah, this dude is, like, backing you. So it's like, is he just falling on the sword for you now? Like, I don't know. Once again, my speculation hat, it just flew back on. Wow, there's a breeze in here. But, like, okay, cool. It's cool that he's saying, no, I own it. That's on me. No, it's not on you. It's on the president. The president makes the moves. You don't tell the president what to fucking do. He does it. That's the way I look at this shit. Am I crazy? Am I being too American right now? Like, but I just think that's how that works, right? So all these people are like falling on their sword, and I'm like, nah, bro. I mean, cool that you did it. You fucked up for even thinking that this is okay. Nah, someone should stop this instead. But whatever. I mean, cool. But travel bans have been placed on Kim, Lee. I don't know why. They did put a comment here. Placed on Kim, Lee, Defense Counterintelligence Commander Yeo In-young, and Army Chief of Staff Park An-soo. Many others have stepped down from their spots. These include former Interior Minister Lee Sang-min, who resigned on Sunday, saying he will take responsibility for failing to serve the public and the president well. And on Wednesday, senior aides of Yoon's office, including his chief of staff, tendered mass resignations hours after the martial law declaration was lifted. Something I did fail to mention in the initial of this is really how crazy this shit was on that night. That motherfuckers had instantly kind of come out to protest, but not just the people, the politicians themselves. Like, you knew he was doing was so wrong that he put measures in place to keep them out of office to stop him. Like, and these people were like, you really fucked up, bro. You fucked up so bad. But you know what? We're gonna let you keep this. Like that's crazy to me that I watched literally politicians have to like grapple their way past like literal fucking like soldiers, and then like people like politicians having to like scale like fences and shit. Like that's crazy. You should never have to be in that situation. It's giving January 6th. Like it's wild that this happened, and yet again a guy is just kind of getting away with it. That's why I really do hope I'm right on this whole line of like after they actually do his ass up and at least he goes to some jail. You know, maybe. Call me crazy. Let's knock on some wood or something. I don't know. And once again, maybe I'm wrong on that. I'm kind of pulling that out the ether, and I'm not Googling it right now. We've gone long, so you know. Big Monday, big episode, lots to yap about. So yeah, that's where I'll leave it. That's the episode for today. If you'd like to help out, support the effort, leave a tip. Patreon.com/Isaiah News. Free ways to hit me up, IsaiahNews1@gmail.com. Feel free to follow me or the podcast on any of the socials. I've said it once, I'll say it 1,000 times. You can find me on X, the Everything app, where I'm losing followers by the day. That's all right. It is whatever. It's just going to be me and Elon at the end. I think that's how it goes. I think that's how this ends for me. In the newsstand. But yeah, you can find me there. You can find me everywhere. Find me on YouTube though. Hit that subscription button. That helps out a lot. That's a free action. Leave a comment. Hopefully it's nice. And if it's nice, make it twice. No, don't do that. That'd be weird. People will think you're a bot. But no, I appreciate that. Also, shout out to my TikTok lovelies. I don't always get to that because, TikTok is a mind-numbing space and it's very hard to navigate. Also, it's hard for me to use it on my phone the way my Wi-Fi is set up. You know what I mean? It just literally won't work. So, bear with me. I get there. I will heart it. And I love you. I love you all lots. Even if they turned the lights off, I'm still love you. I'm never going to forget the time we shared. Okay? I'll never forget the DMs. Okay? I'm looking at you. Looking at y'all. But yeah, that's it. Thanks so much for tuning in. I knocked over my water bottle. Thanks so much for tuning in. Thanks so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.